What's
Welcome,
up?
welcome. We do have a special guest today, Robert Santoro. Robert,
Yes,
welcome to the show.
let's get
Thank
it.
you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate being on the show. It means a lot to me. This podcast here has been a big part of my journey personally into ultra running, so I'm pretty excited to be on with you guys. So thanks again for having me.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just super stoked to talk to you and get to
Yeah.
hear some stories from the dome.
Yeah, we're really excited to talk to Robert. He just had a pretty epic journey at 6 days in the dome. So we'll start to show off talking to Robert about that and a bunch of other stuff, and then we'll go over some race results. It's kind of like the holiday weekend, 4th of July, plus the Western States hangover. So there really wasn't too many races, well-known races going on anyways. Badwater did start Monday night, and it is finished already. And then there was some huge FKTs, one huge one in particular in Colorado that we're going to go over, and there was a few in the Northeast as well. And for news, there wasn't really too much, but Hardrock is coming up this weekend. It starts Friday morning at I believe 8 a.m. and that would be Mountain Time in Colorado. I'm sorry, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Friday Mountain Time, be 8 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to go over a little Hardrock preview and make some picks. And then we have our 3Ts. I figured since Robert's on and he's a veteran now with the multi-day,
Oh
multi-night
yeah.
races. We're gonna talk about
I don't know
multi-night
if I'd go that far.
Well, 6 days is a lot of learning.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
That's a crash course right there. That's a crash course.
But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, let's get into it, Robert. We always, whenever we have a new guest on, we always like to dive into their origin story. Johnny and I, that was our first intro episode, was our origin stories, and we did that with Cole and and Costume Chick Charlotte, and just learn about how you got into running, what brought you to running. Did you run when you were in high school? Why did you start running, and what's your history with running?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I did get into running cross country and track for winter and spring. I grew up in just outside of Boston, so we did have 3 seasons, but we ran indoors for the winter. I played basketball for a time, and then my brother ran cross country. He's like 2 years older than me, so he's kind of the one that got me nudged into it. And one of the things that I liked about it was it kind of took a lot of politics out of the sports, right? Like everybody's fighting for playing time on the basketball court and things like that. And I like that. In running, it's like largely how hard you train is how well you're going to do and how disciplined you can be, right? Like you're going to have that athletic ability that separates like the phenoms and stuff, but like largely if you're disciplined and you work hard, like you're going to be a pretty good runner for the most part. And I like that. And everybody had their race, and it's just like whoever's the fastest wins, right? It's not like whose kid knows the coach and whose parent knows the coach and all that kind of stuff. So I really kind of fell in love with it in high school. I ended up transitioning to like marathons after high school. I didn't do any like college running or anything, but I did, like when I was 18, I ran my first marathon, and I really enjoyed that. I really liked the longer distance. I was always better at longer stuff, so I kind of focused on that while I was in college. I did okay, and then for a long time, once I began my career in law enforcement, I still ran, but it was more like for health. And so I hopped in a marathon here or there. That's when I did a Grand Canyon rim to rim with my brother. My brother's been like a real big kind of influence on me as far as running goes. So him and a couple of his buddies were like, yeah, we're going to do a rim to rim. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So we did that. And that was fun.
Was that your first ultra distance? I mean, did you go all the way to North Rim and back to South Rim?
Yeah. So we went
Yeah.
South Rim to North Rim and back. It was like, what, 45 miles, 46 miles ish is like the route we took. I couldn't recite it to you. It was back in 2014, and kind of like, I knew about ultra running, but I wasn't really keyed in on it as much as I am now. So I just kind of was along for the ride. Yeah, it was, that was a fun time though. We kind of like, it was just a whirlwind, right? Like I flew out from Savannah because I was living in Savannah at the time, stayed in Vegas for like a night. My brother got there like in the middle of the night with his buddy. We drove down there and like, I think spent one night there and started at like 5 a.m. We got done like, like the next, it was like 15 hours or something like that is what we ended up doing it in. And then like had a steak, flew back out. Like I had a red eye and I went right into a murder trial. So like I landed at like 6 a.m.
Oh my God.
I had to go to court like at like 9 that morning. So I was sitting through like jury selection, just ready to like fall asleep, and just struggling. But
oh my God.
it was like a wild trip, but it was a cool experience, and those things kind of have stuck with me. And my brother is big into mountaineering. So he's done like every 14,000 foot peak in the US.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
Cool.
he's just like, he's taken me up like Mount Rainier when we lived out there. So he's been a pretty big influence on me in getting back into the ultra origin stuff. He's kind of, he ran a 50K, I want to say last year. Like 2024 is when he ran Desert Rats. And I was just kind of watching him, on the live stream. And I was like, that's pretty cool, this longer stuff. And he's like, yeah, man, you'd be good at it, man. You should try. And fortunately, my career kind of aligned with my dabbling at that time. And I hopped in a 50K and I did okay at that. And then I was training for a marathon because when I first kind of committed back to running, I was like, I'm going to race a marathon. I haven't raced one in a long time. But then I started listening to you guys and I'm like, man, I want to like do 100-miler, man, like this 50K stuff. I don't care about that. I want to do 100. So like I signed up for Last Man Standing in Wisconsin last September. And I was like, I just need to make 100. So I made 100, which, I think I messaged you guys about this before. I don't think I'd recommend doing a last person standing for 100 for like a first timer, but
no kidding.
I did it. And then, it's kind of been like, I've been, on the addiction train ever since.
That's awesome. You're drinking from a fire hose.
Oh yeah. That's like, just like, it's funny because like jumping into like the rim to rim to rim, that is like, sometimes it's kind of funny because like ignorance is bliss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you just don't even like what is reality? How bad does this hurt? I don't know. Like, you don't know, you don't know. So sometimes it's just nice to be like, oh, well, fuck it. Like, we'll find out when we get there.
Yeah. And guys, I had no idea about nutrition. Even when I was racing marathons when I was younger, like, dude, I was an idiot, dude. I probably could have run so much faster if I like had some like knowledge about nutrition, like it's just, it's crazy.
We've all been there. And it took years after I started running ultras before I realized how much calories really do matter.
It's funny too. I was messing around on Threads and I saw someone say something to the effect of, "Hey, I have my first 50K coming up in like X amount of days," and it was like 8. I can't remember in my head.
I think I saw that. It was like 10 days or something.
Yeah. What suggestions do people have for nutrition, gear, and mindset? And I'm like, motherfucker,
are you gonna make an REI run?
yeah, you are already like. My suggestion is you're effed. Like that's my suggestion. If you're asking for that stuff now, you had mentioned you did a 50K and you did pretty well at it. What 50K was that?
So it was a local trail race here in Minnesota, out in Annandale. It's called the Big Eddy. So it's in a local park, and I think there was like 3,500 foot of gain in it. So it's not crazy, but like for me, that was a pretty good first one. It was a little longer than a 50K, and I think it was like a little over 32 miles.
Yeah.
So I ended up coming in third there. But that was like a little local race, and the two guys that beat me, those guys had run that race a couple years in a row, and they were pretty cool. Like I ran with them for like the first 20 miles or so, and then they just kind of dropped me, you know, the last 10 or whatever. And I mean, I was smart. I didn't chase them. I was like, no, like I'm not doing that yet. You know, it's a long way to go for me still. So I did the right thing there. But those guys were pretty cool to run with, and they were, you know, encouraging me to do well and things like that. So and that's another thing I really enjoyed about the community is just you know, for the most part, everybody's like that, right? They're going to support you and congratulate you at the end and not really be a dick for the most part.
Yeah. For the most part, the front of the Packers are hanging out, drinking beer with the back of the Packers when it's all said and done and vice versa. Yeah, it is really cool about it.
Yeah. It's not all the races are like prestigious like Western states or anything like that. You know, like you know, Johnny and I grew up in these, or started our ultra running career in these smaller family atmosphere type races, and it's everybody is very accessible in most races in the United States, I would say. So
so let's jump right into it. Let's hear about the 6 days in a dome. What's the broad stroke recap of it?
I mean, it's kind of like a lot to try to sum up, right? Like I think generally I'm content with what I did. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement for me. You know, my first day was kind of like the only day that I really kind of had to plan. I wanted to try to run for about 16 or 17 hours a day. So I wanted to maybe hit around 100. I wasn't like dead set on 100, but I was like, I want to hit somewhere around 100 on the first day. So I was pretty spot on for that for my first day. And then the second day, man, like, and, you know, and I've trained, you know, I did like a 3-day treadmill run to train for this thing where I ran like 200. So I've been exploring with like nutrition and things like that. But man, that second day, my stomach just rebelled on me, man. And I was shitting my brains out, dude. I couldn't hold anything in, and like not even water, man. I take water and I just immediately have to go to the shitter. And you know, like over the course of 4 hours, that wears you out, man, because you're just losing all your nutrients. And so I ended up having to just like stop for a while on the second day, that was kind of demoralizing. And that's where like my crew was really big for me. Like my wife was there with my kids, and my dad and my stepmom were there. And like I was super discouraged, man. I was like, dude, seriously, second day, man. And I'm sucking it out, you know? And like, they're like, no, just stop. You're going to be okay. And so they were able to kind of help me reset. And I do think that's one of the kind of nice things about the 6th day is that there is a lot of time, right? Like you can have a catastrophe and still just reset, and there's enough time for you to still perform pretty well. So that was a lesson I learned. But some of these guys, man, like Tatsunori Suzuki was a guy I ran with for a little while there, or for a long time there. And dude, that dude didn't have a break longer than like 30 minutes the whole time. Like, I don't know how he did it, dude. Like
subhuman, man.
It's like it's crazy. Wow. You know, everybody's different, so you know, there's that. But I mean, I think that, you know, I had my ups and downs. Third day was kind of like I kind of got back on track a little bit. I think I ran like 71 miles. Sleep deprivation caught up with me on day 4. So day 4 was another low day. I think I only ran like 51 miles that day. Because it was hard to sleep, man. Like I planned for it. Like I had earplugs and I had a mask, like a blindfold. But like they play music all night long, like the whole time. And then you could hear people like talking as they're walking by and stuff too. Cause I was like, dude, I'm not leaving the track. Like I'm just going to sleep at the track. Like I don't want to go anywhere else. And, but like that was, I mean, I was sleeping maybe 90 minutes a day, 120 minutes a day. And by day 4, it was just like, I needed sleep. So I finally ended up going up to, they have a room on the 2nd floor where you can take an elevator up, and it's more quiet. It's made for the runners to sleep. And I mean, it was hard concrete floor. So I just had a sleeping bag, but I was so tired. I racked out for a little while, and that helped me. But then the next time I tried to go up there, like some dudes brought their like dinner up there and were like eating and talking. And then one dude was taking a cell phone call up there. And I just was like, all right, F it, I'm done. Like I'm going back. I'm just going to sleep by the track and make the best of it.
That's some shit where someone's got to say something. Like, hey, yo, this is the sleeping room. It's not
trying to get some sleep here.
This is not. This is sleeping room, not the talking on the cell phone room. Kick rocks.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy that no one said anything. Like, especially by day 4, day 5, because people are irritable as shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I was pretty pissed, man, because I think I'd racked out for like 20 minutes, and then all that shit has happened, and I was like, you gotta be kidding. And I should have said something, but like I'm kind of glad I didn't, because like I don't think they meant anything by it, because like everybody that I'm talking about, they were all nice people, but it was just kind of like, I don't know, man. But yeah, so that did affect me. So like for learning lessons next time, I'll figure something else out for sleep probably. But so day 4 was another low day.
Are you allowed to leave the dome to go sleep?
You can, yeah. So if you're gonna stay like on the property, like at the arena or even in the parking lot, you don't have to tell them. You can you can just go and do that. If you're gonna go off property, they make you give them like your toe tag. So like you'd let them know, hey, I'm going off property. Here's my toe tag. So and then they hold on to it, and then when you get back, you got to get it back from them so they can keep track of like where you're at. Yeah. So you can leave, but you just have to like let them know.
Yeah.
The
vehicle in the parking lot might be a good option. Yeah, if you can, I mean, if you have air conditioning or, I don't know what the weather was like outside, but.
Yeah, it was super hot, man. It was like, so the dome itself was climate controlled. So it was nice and cool, good for when you're running, freezing for like the crew, like my dad was already like, yeah, I'm not doing this again, dude. And I was like, I don't blame you. He's like 77 years old. Like the last day, dude, he pulled like a 40-hour day with me, like just stayed up all night from like, like the whole night, like to help me out. The guy was just a beast. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome. So and one question about the music and the loudspeaker, like, was it so loud that like you couldn't really hear what you had going on in your headphones?
Yeah, at times. Yeah. So like I'd have to like jack up. So the first 3 days or 3.5 days, I did run with with the shocks, and I had some music and stuff, and I jack it way up. So, I mean, you can't really hear anything that's going on around you, especially during the day. At night, they don't play it as loud. It's still loud enough, but it's not as loud as like during the day. And then during the day, they also have, because it's the ice arena, so they have like figure skating practices going on, speed skating, hockey games. So like in the middle of the day, if you're trying to sleep, you might get a slap shot into the boards, and it's like, boom! like a slap shot woke me up one time, and I was like, Jesus, you think you're getting like shelled or something,
Like, so go ahead, Johnny.
What music do they play?
A little bit of everything. I mean, a lot of like classic rock and roll. Like the race directors choose, so it kind of depends on who's in the seat. But it was like kind of a lot of like classic rock and stuff, which is all right.
I can just hear like Fetty Wap coming on. You know what I mean? Like, after the loops to like Fetty Wap on repeat or some nonsense like that. People are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no. Thankfully, it was none of that.
And it sounds like it was kind of a free for all getting set up when I read your Substack. Like getting your tables set up and stuff. I mean, how limited was that space? Did everybody across all the races have space to set up?
It got pretty tight. So that was one thing that, like, when you initially signed up, and I'm not down in like the race directors at all, because they ran a pretty good race, and I got nothing real negative to say about that. But in the thing, it said you'd get your own table. Well, once they sent out like the race week like instruction or whatever, it's like you get a half table. So, and it's first come, first serve. So it kind of did, like, there wasn't assigned table. So it did kind of become a free for all. And like, I think, if you read my Substack, like we started setting up in one spot, and then another competitor came and kind of like took over the spot, and we were out in the car getting another load of shit, even though we had like, a mini fridge and a bunch of stuff there. And so anyway, we ended up moving down to a different space. And like, thankfully I brought my own table, because there wasn't even a table where we ended up setting up at. I just set up my own table, and we set up there. And that worked out for the best, to be honest with you. But it's because I brought my own table. And I know, like, because they have the 6-day and the 10-day going on, right? 10 days already going by the time the 6-day gets there. But then they had, like, 72-hour, 48-hour, 24-hour, 12 hours. And so they would, every day at 9 o'clock, there could be other runners there. So there were times where it was pretty packed on the track. And, I know that there were people that were, like, kind of tight for table space and stuff. Yeah, some of those guys, man, like there was a guy named John Judge who came and he was trying to run like 50 miles and like 5 hours. And it was just tough. He was smoking, but like he ended up, I think, cashing out around 42 or 43. Cause you're weaving in and out of people, it was hard for those guys to do fast times. I think like Raj Paul Panu was there too for a 12-hour. And I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but he was moving pretty fast too.
Do the race directors try to get the participants to be in certain lanes based off from speed? Do they try to encourage, hey, listen, like if you're running lanes 1, 2, and 3, if you're walking, come on now, keep it out to 4, 5, and 6. Do they try to do that and people just kind of like get tired and zone out and kind of drift into lanes?
So there's only 3 lanes on the track, which makes it tight already.
Damn.
So it's three lanes, and then kind of but they do police it. Like they say, if you're running or if you're moving, like at a good place, like not like just slow walking. Like they're like, if you're slow walking, be in the 3rd lane.
Yeah.
If you're moving, you have a right to the 1st lane, and then it's the onus on the runner that's running faster to pass to like get around you in the 2nd lane, essentially. So that's kind of how they do it. And I can't think of a better system than how they had it, but it's still, you'll get a log jam there. And, I felt bad for these guys that were trying to run fast. Cause it was like, man, I tried to like look behind me and stay out of their way, but that's hard. Like I think Raj Paul Panu was like on the 5th or 6th day. And I was just like dog tired. And it's like trying to like not get run over by like, the fast dudes, it's like, that was kind of rough, but, I know they were feeling it too because they're having to like dance around people. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's not a race that you want to go for a record, that's for sure.
No, I didn't know it was only 3. I didn't know it was only 3 lanes deep. I just assumed it was like a standard indoor track, right? Like 8 lanes, 6 lanes, 8 lanes.
No,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and
go for it.
It looks like looks like you guys. I watched the live stream for a little bit. I could see you actually, but I did notice that they had you guys changing directions every so often. How often?
Every 6 hours. So they do it at the 9s and the 3s. So 9 a.m., 9 p.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m. You'd switch lanes.
Okay, so you would actually
switch directions. I'm sorry.
Would you actually cross a timing mat and then go back over the timing mat?
Yeah. So I don't know how they actually had it set up because there was timing mats on both sides of the track. So you had to, that's how they keep track of you too, to make sure you're not just like going back and forth on the start line. But yeah, they would basically, they'd have a turnaround and then the race directors would be right there. And then it's actually kind of one of the cooler things about the race because you'd cross over 2 timing mats, do like a U-turn and come back around. And then you're passing like the other people. So everybody's like high-fiving each other as they go by. It's actually like, it's kind of cool. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like if you're off the track, like say you're off the track at 3 a.m. and you come back, you finish your lap going the direction that you were going when you stopped. Shit. So you got to remember which way you were going and then you turn around and go back the other way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's a lot.
4 or 5 days.
Yeah. You know how you guys like in prior episodes when you're talking about dirt naps, like doing an arrow or something. That's what they were telling people to do. Like, hey, like do an arrow. And I actually saw people do that. Like they'd be sleeping in a sleeping bag, and then there's an arrow on their table, like go that way.
That is great. Yeah, I would absolutely mess that up.
Yeah.
I would absolutely mess that up.
You'd be like getting negative miles or something.
Like, you're going backwards, dude. I'm assuming one of the questions that's on here. I'm assuming you didn't have to carry anything, right? Like you just kept everything at the table. Like no reason to carry water like that, right?
Yeah, for the most part, like when I was like wanting to do like a a 2 or 3 hour pull, I might have had a soft flask with me. That way I didn't need to like stop at the table or cross lanes. I could just kind of do it. Cause I had my running belt on anyway, cause that's where I had my phone for the music.
Yeah.
And so like every once in a while I would take that, but I didn't have to, you know, and then sort of by the end of the race, I wasn't really bringing anything with me, which was nice. Like it was kind of like, you know, just run by the table and grab something, or even stop for a second to grab it and then keep going, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like roughly a quarter mile lap. Is that right?
Yeah, it was like a little more than that. It's like 443 meters or something like that. So it's like a little bit more than a quarter mile, but roughly 400.
And you ended up, what was your total mileage?
412.
412 miles. So, and that was, and then that was third place overall, second place male, and first place American for the 6-day, which is the main event, really, the 6-day. So congrats on that, by the way. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Especially for like your second time running. Was that your second time running 100 miles or more?
So I did that last man standing, and then I did a 24-hour race for like a build up where I hit 100. Okay. So this would have been like my third time. Yeah. So not much more than that.
Man, that's phenomenal.
The last man standing, how many hours did that go before you were like, okay, I hit my miles I want to get? How long did that go for you, the last man standing one?
It was 24 hours. So I did the full 24, and then I cashed out. And, you know, there was part of me that was like, I could try to keep going, but like this was like sort of late September. The Madison Marathon, which I was training for, was like November. And at that point I was like, dude, like I put so much into like the marathon training. Like I don't want to destroy myself. I've already kind of beat myself up enough. I just wanted to kind of reach that 100, which at the end of the day, I don't know if I could have gone a whole lot further, because that was like a lot for me at the time. But so it was like the full 24 hours. And I think the winner ended up going like 122. So I think he did like maybe 5 more laps after me.
The reason I ask is because talking about like talking about making leaps and jumps in a person's like a running career, essentially rim to rim, a 50K, a 24 hour, and then it's like,
let's do 6 days,
full 6
full
days.
send.
Like that is, and so what's funny is we Jamie had made the comment about, well, you know, the expert, right? And what's funny is like from this point on, for a very significant amount of time, anyone in the ultra running community that you're part of, you will be the person that they'll come to, be like, well, you've done it, so surely you know all the tips and tricks. You're like, I did it once. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I can tell you what I did or didn't do, but like I don't know. Like, I'm not the expert just because I managed to, you know, make my way through it. But it is kind of cool because you will now be like, for everyone in your like that group, you'll be the person that they're like, well, yeah, he did it. Like go to him. He knows how to do it, and like that's just what it'll be now. So that's really, really cool.
Thanks, man. I am 100% still a rookie, dude. Like I just, and I like what you guys always say. You're just always like, you know, you give your advice and stuff, but you're like, everybody's different. You know, everybody's got their own things that work for them and things that don't work for them, and you kind of have to go trial and error, you know. And I mean, I believe that, and you know, even for the 6-day stuff, like I say, you guys are a big part of like my personal journey. Like I got to the ultra running history stuff from this podcast, and then I just got like way interested in that 6-day race stuff. I was like, no way, dude, this shit is crazy, man. Like I want to do that. I want to try that.
Yeah.
And you know,
walking competitions in the late 1800s and early 1900s, they were insane.
Yeah, man. And then like, you know, like the traditional Barclay match, you know, like the dude that does like a mile until he gets 1,000. Like I want to do that sometime, dude. Like when I retire and I have like 40 days, I'm doing that, dude. Like I'm gonna try to do that.
Hell yeah.
It is really funny because like you'll just start finding different things too. Like if for you it's going to be really hard to hit new distances, right? Because like 6 days, 412 miles, so it'll be hard to hit newer distances. But what you'll catch yourself doing is like, well, you know what? That might not be as far as that might be not as long, but that sounds like it'll be really kind of funny. Or that sounds like it'll suck really bad. And you're like, I'm going to do that. You know, you're like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
You're like, because in a weird way, it's fun. You know what I mean? So like that.
Yeah.
That's where you'll get to. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, like on Jamie's blog for his zero drop, you know, when I read his thing on the bear, I was like, dude, I want to run the bear, man. Like that sounds awesome. That race sounds cool, dude, man.
That is one of the most beautiful races I've ever done. I mean, it's just spectacular. The fall foliage and like
yeah.
And it's very
no, you're right.
run.
It's just different stuff. Just kind of it piques your interest, right? And you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna try that. And there's so much more out there, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's a
and
hard
the wild thing is,
qualifier.
Hardrock qualifier. There you go. If you ever want to do Hardrock, the other thing that's kind of cool is like you'll hit ebbs and flows. Where like, you know what? All right, like I'm just tired of investing the time for 100 milers. I'm going to go a little batshit crazy and find like really quirky, weird 50Ks to fill up my calendar. And it's like the 50Ks were kind of nice because like shit, you can do 12 of those bastards in a year and not really be tore up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do a couple of hundreds a year and you're annihilated. Like you're just like your body's like it is time to shut down. So yeah, you'll just kind of like ebb and flow out of different distances, different times, different. All kinds of fun shit. So it's you've really set a good bar though. Like you
very impressive.
You jumped right into the deep end. So
right in.
It'll be fun watching what you do next.
I just have a couple of quick questions before I want to jump into the recovery and see how that's going. But I did notice some of your gear. Attire for the 6 day. First of all, you cut holes in your shoes. Like you basically cut out the top of the shoes where the toes are. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. And this was like something that like I get so mad at myself because this is something I should have done like years and years ago. Like as I've had problems with blisters on my feet, like I never put it together until here recently that my feet are just wide as hell, man. Like I have 4E. Those shoes I had were Asics Kayanos, and they are 4E extra wide. So like the widest shoe I could find. And my toes, like when they splay, like they overarch on the big toe and the little toe. And you know, so I've gutted through like. Dude, my feet were tore up after that last man standing because there was just rubbing the whole time. And you know, I can get away with a marathon and I'll have like some blisters, but not bad. But like once you start getting into like 50 miles, 100K or more than that, like my feet were just getting annihilated, dude. And then I did that treadmill run, and dude, my feet were just tore up after that, and I lost like a bunch of toenails and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, what is going on? And then you know, it seems so simple, but you know, I ended up seeing, I think Mike Wardian, one of his Tiva races where he wore like the sandals, and I was like, dude, like that kind of like it looks weird, but like, you know, I wonder if like that would work for me. So I actually ordered a pair of those Tivas, and guess what? And my feet too wide for those things too. But then I was like,
really?
You know, then I read like the fixing your feet with the fixing your feet book, and they talk about cutting your shoes. And I was like, dude, you know what? I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna try it. And so I cut them, and man, it just felt so much better. Like it does kind of feel like you're running in a sandal, but like my feet didn't rub. You know, I didn't get like any blisters. I got 2 small ones on my left foot, and that was only because like my left foot started to swell, so I had to loosen the tongue. So then like my heel rubbed a little bit more because it was looser. And then for some reason on my right foot, I think it's because that was one of the toenails I lost, and it's like still kind of growing back. I think it was like rubbing the nail bed, so I got kind of a gnarly one underneath my nail bed. But I mean, I didn't feel it during the run, and like I mean, considering what my feet were like, I mean, it was definitely an improvement. And just now I got to figure out like, okay, that's cool if you're running on an indoor track, but like if I'm running on a trail or like mud, like how am I going to do that? You know, like what's that going to look like? Cause you know, even the ultras fit okay too, but like they're still not wide enough for me. So I don't know.
Did you try the ultra? They have ultra wide.
I got to look at that. I think I just ordered like the standard ultra, like the ultra fit. Yeah.
I don't know if it's wider than the 4Es or not, but they do have a wide version of at least of the Lone Peaks, or they used to. Maybe they don't anymore. I don't know. You might want to look at it.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
People were complaining that it was way too wide. So I don't know.
It's probably fit me perfect.
Maybe it'll be good for you. Also, the other thing I noticed in the pictures, you had a bucket hat on.
Yeah.
What's up with the bucket hat?
So it's just a hat I like. You know, I got some people giving me some comments. They're like, "Hey, you know, there's no sun in here, right?" And I was like, "I know, but like I less like the hat, man. You know, like it's my my signature hat. You know, I am a bald guy, so you know, in the sun, it does. I do wear it for the protection of the sun, but I'm just like, dude, I like this hat, man. It's a Sunday River hat. It's nice and light.
Nice.
Yeah. That's wild as shit. That's wild as shit. People talking shit just about your hat in the dome, right? Like, hey, by the way, there's no sun here. Thanks, asshole. I noticed. Yeah, like, what are we talking about, man?
Yeah.
Let me live.
Yeah.
Oh man. Did you end up listening to any books, or was it just music?
I didn't listen to books. I mean, I listened to War and Peace on the way down because that was like a drive, and then on the way back also. But actually running, you know, it depends on my mood. Sometimes I find it hard to concentrate on a book if I'm running because I'm kind of concentrating on running, then I miss even what they're saying. So I did more music, and then I had downloaded a few movies. Obviously, I couldn't watch them, but I just listened to them.
Right.
So I did that a few times. So yeah, basically movies and music is kind of what I stuck to.
That's cool. We have some friends that do the movies, even on trail races.
Yeah, that's Chaz's go-to. Like that's every race. I don't know if I've been to a race with him yet. At probably, I don't know, the 100K mark, maybe a little bit later, he'll throw the headphones on and he listens to Tombstone.
Yeah,
every race, it's Tombstone every time. That's the bitch. He can recite Doc Holliday inside and out. I'm like, dude. Like every race. So that's cool.
Okay. So it's been a little over a week since you started, right? Or when did it finish actually? Friday. So
we finished Sunday. So we went the 6th day went from the 23rd to the 30th.
Okay, so
30th to Sunday, right? No, or is it the 29th? Whatever that Sunday was, the 29th.
Yeah, so you've been done for like a week and a half now. How do you feel? How's the recovery going?
You know, man, like I'm obviously beat up, you know, but I gotta say, like I'm doing better than I thought I was gonna be doing. I thought I was gonna be destroyed for a month. You know, like the hardest part, at least for the first week, was like I just couldn't really sleep. You know, I couldn't get comfortable as my body was sore. So I'd be exhausted. I'd pass out for like 2 hours and then I'd just be awake. And you guys know, you guys talked about this, I think last time, about just being ravenously hungry. Like I could just eat and eat and eat. But I wasn't sleeping. So that kind of like after didn't sleep much during the race, didn't sleep like the week after. Like this Sunday was the first time Sunday into Monday that I actually slept like overnight, and it was still kind of shitty sleep, but at least it was overnight, and that's getting better. So that's good. And then I know Jamie mentioned like I got a run streak going, and I'm not doing big miles or nothing. It's 3 miles a day. So like that Monday I drove home, and it's supposed to be like a 5.5 hour drive. Well, there was like 2 wrecks on 94. So it took like 7 hours. So like I'm already swollen, right? And I'm driving because my wife had to leave and go home earlier in the week. So I was driving home 7 hours. I get home have to unpack the car, and then I'm going for a run. And I was doing like 17 or 18 minute pace, and I was just like, I was like, asking my wife, I was like, you want to walk with me? Like, you probably can keep up with me, She's like, nah, I don't want to walk. I'm like, all right.
And so your run streak is you do 3 miles every day.
Yeah, minimum 3. Yeah.
How long has that been? How long have you been going?
It was like officially it was New Year's of 2024. So like I think it was a few days before. It was in December, like I don't know, 26th or 27th is actually when I've started, and I've kept going. But I kind of give myself January 1 of 24. So it's been a year and a half.
Wow.
And like I kind of did that like as a resolution just to do it, because I never did a whole year without missing a day. But I did learn a lot about recovery by doing that. It was like, cause I never like ran the day after like a marathon or a 50K I did run afterwards. That first 50K I did, and I just like my body so much faster. Like even now, like today I think I was running like 8-minute pace, and like I just take what my body gives me like during recovery. Like so I don't, like I don't push the pace. I just take what my body gives me. And then like today I just was the first day I probably like felt my normal stride without, pain anywhere. Cause if there's pain somewhere, like I dial it back. I'm just like, all right, like I'm not going to run in pain. I'm just going to take what I can get. And like today was the first day where it's like, all right, now like I'm striding out pretty normal, and I feel okay. Like obviously like I still need time to recover, man. Like I'm not there yet, but like it's crazy that to me I feel like I hit sort of like a normal stride today, and it's been like a week and a half, like after running 6 days. So but again, that's me. I don't know if that would work for everybody. I do know like time off and recovery, like that's different for everybody, and it's super important. And I think I've just sort of like reached that point where like this is kind of what works for me. So I'm in recovery. I don't do more than 3 miles a day. I never am hammering it. I'm just kind of taking what my body gives me. I'm not, getting my heart rate way up there. Like I'm not pushing it up hills or anything. I'm just kind of out there going slow.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's helping with recovery because to hit your normal stride, I know you're still jet lagged. You're not feeling there yet, but hitting your normal stride 10 days out from 6 days, that's pretty impressive.
Like yesterday, dude, I felt like terrible. So like, I mean, I dialed it way back yesterday as far as pace goes. It was like, man, I feel like crap. So I'm just going to go even slower, so it really depends on the day. That was today. So tomorrow we'll see. Like, I did my normal stride today. So then tomorrow, like my body will be like, F you, man,
Yeah. you could wake up tomorrow and feel like chewed up bubble gum. Just like, what is going on?
Yeah. That does happen. You'll in recovery, you'll have like some days when you're feeling, I'm getting back. And then the next day, last thing I just want to say is that everybody should know that, Robert has done all of this. And he's a very busy person outside of his running life. He has family, job, and you're going for a PhD. Is that right?
Yeah. Actually, I got a paper due on Monday that needs a lot of attention this week.
And here you are talking to us jokers,
I'd much rather do this.
What's the paper on that we're procrastinating on? What is the paper going to be about?
It's community-based organizations. So my degree is in public administration. So it's a class on community organizations, which is pretty cool. I kind of got an idea of like what it needs to be on and what I'm going to write on. So it's just a matter of kind of sitting down and getting it on paper. It's like, it was one of those things where like, I had to do my assignments before the dome because it was like, you don't care that I'm running for 6 days, I got to get this stuff in, man. So like, I don't miss the assignment,
That's not a valid excuse. Yeah. I got a letter from the race director.
Yeah. Professor's like, that's a real cool story about that assignment though. Yeah. That's awesome.
All right. Well, it was cool getting the rundown. Thanks for sharing all that with us, Robert. That was
it's amazing.
cool. But
yeah, of course. I appreciate you guys having me and considering me as a guest, man. It's been awesome. Just happy to be on with you guys.
Yeah. Well, now hang out with us for the first race we're going to talk about, probably right down the road from you. No,
he's in Minnesota.
Yeah, Afton.
Yeah.
Oh,
Afton
well, you got talk about Afton, right?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
I had that third on the list, but we can talk about it first if you want.
I guess we did have other ones in front. I forgot about Mount Marathon and all that shit. It was the one that was up on my face right now. That's what.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Afton Trail Run. How far did you say it is from you?
For me, it's not too far, man. It's maybe like, it's going more toward the Wisconsin border, but so maybe like 45 minutes, 50 minutes away.
Oh, are you familiar with this race? Afton Trail Run.
I have not run it. But I do, like, I know of it and I've heard of it and stuff. And I hope at some point to get down there to run it, like if it aligns with, what I got going on.
Cool. Yeah. I did see that, and I'm like, oh, Robert's going to be on. He's from Minnesota. He probably knows about this race. So it was the 31st annual Afton Trail Run. So it's been going on for a long time. 50K, and it's in Afton State Park in Minnesota's in the St. Croix River Valley. 230 runners finished the race. For the women, Jess Guile won in 5 hours and 32 minutes, and Alex Forte won for the men, and overall with a pretty fast time, 3 hours and 39 minutes to win the men's.
God damn, jeez, dude, 3:39 on 50K. Yeah, I am looking at the pictures. That is a blazing fast trail. Like, you can look at the pictures and be like, they are flying on that thing. Yeah. It reminds me of this won't mean anything to run. It reminds me of running the south part of like Possum or Seamus.
Okay.
Like, it's a little bit like the worst section of the trail. It's just grass, so you're running on grass. But everything after that's like flat, like wide, multi-use trail.
Oh, okay.
It's a
like
blazer.
Some 2-track stuff.
Yeah, this looks like a fun one. It looks like a fun family kind of race. So
I think it's a 2-looper, if I'm not mistaken.
Those will take your soul if you're not careful.
But so as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Badwater started Monday morning. The Badwater 135, which starts in Badwater Basin, the lowest point in the United States, 280 feet below sea level, I think, something like that. I've been there, I think, twice. I should probably know that. And then it goes on the road from Badwater Basin all the way up to the Mount Whitney portal. Mount Whitney is the tallest peak in the the continental United States, 14,000 and I don't know, 300 feet maybe. That's probably not right, but it's the tallest in the continental United States. And but the race cannot go all the way up to the peak because you need a permit to go up to the peak, and they can't get a permit for all the runners to go up to the peak. Plus, that's a crazy ass climb anyway. So they end at the Mount Whitney portal, which is at like 9,000 or 9,500 feet above sea level, and it is a very hard race because the temperatures usually get up into the 110s, 120s. Some years it's been like 127 degrees, 125 degrees, just insane. This year, it looks like maybe around Stovepipe Wells, it got around 115 or 118 during the day. So, I mean, while that is hot, it's not the hottest that it's been. And it looks like from the results that people actually did fairly decent.
Yeah. It was a fast year for sure.
Yeah. The winner is from Norway, Simon Holvik, and he finished in 21 hours and 47 minutes, the 135 miles. And this is uphill too, right? It's just a very gradual uphill. Like, I've been on that road through Death Valley, and I'm just like, that would suck going this way, right? Because it's just just gradual uphill, like for so long. And then second place. Okay, so there was a stat I did post on Instagram or Facebook that Pete Kostelnick got second, but that was the result, and Pete started at a different time. So someone that started at a later time actually set a better time than Pete. Ivan Penalba Lopez came in second place in 22 hours and 7 minutes. And then Pete came in third to round out the podium, 22 hours, 42 minutes.
I still claim him as our Ohioan.
That's right. Pete Kostelnick did live in the Cleveland area for a time.
Lived in Wadsworth.
And Johnny used to be part of a different podcast, Running Beer and BS, and they interviewed Pete at one point. So
pretty cool. I mean, what's amazing is like one, he's still Ohio dude. I could still maintain him as Ohioan. But the thing that's really wild is, I mean, we're only 3 years removed, no more than 5. Him getting in that really bad car accident and being in a hospital with a crushed pelvis.
Yeah, like a life-threatening car wreck.
Yeah, and the dude's out knocking down third place at Badwater 135. Yeah.
He's out throwing down a sub 23-hour Badwater. Yeah.
And I don't know, did you see any of the videos I've seen where he's like, just kind of moving along, you know?
Yeah.
Just like ain't shit. Like,
his recovery has been amazing. You know, and this is a guy that has done some crazy stuff. I don't know if you know what Pete Kostelnick did, Robert, before all that, but he went from Alaska.
Yeah, he did like Alaska to Florida, right?
Yes, right.
Alaska to Key
West.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the type of stuff. He set the Transcon record for the United States. Not sure if he still holds that or not. He may.
Wasn't there a controversy with someone took it, like someone beat it, and like there's controversy whether or not the person really beat it? Like they found out maybe the person's like holding on to the back of a bus or some weird shit.
Pete Kostelnick does currently hold the Transcon record. San Francisco to New York in 42 days, 6 hours and 30 minutes. So anyways, great guy.
And he's on the US 24 team this year, right?
Oh, yeah, good call.
Isn't he on the 24-hour team this year?
I believe so. He'll be running with Cole.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
And good call.
Speaking of Cole.
First place female was Marissa Lysick in 25 hours and 7 minutes. And second place was Megan Eckert, who recently set the 6-day record. 600 and a few miles, 600 and some change. And then Allie Young was third, 28:56. Other notable people, my favorite trail running videographer, Jeff Peltier. He finished in 24th place overall and in 32 hours and 44 minutes, which kind of surprised me because I saw on Instagram that he ran his fastest 100-mile ever, and it was like 21 something. So that tells me it took him like 12 hours to do the last 35 miles.
He hit the mountain and was like, fuck this shit. I'm stopping for a very long nap. Isn't that Cole is out with him, right?
So Cole is out pacing and crewing for Victoria.
Okay.
Victoria Brown, and she did finish. Right here. Yeah, she did pretty good. 20th overall, 31 hours and 27 minutes.
God.
Yeah, she was 5th place female. So that was Cole's runner. Nice job, team. I think they're Mount Coast teammates, maybe, or.
Oh yeah. Well, and so that's why I was wondering if he was out there with. That's why I was wondering if he's out
Jeff?
there with Jeff, because Jeff is MTC also, I think.
He is.
And while I'm out here whoring myself out for people who we have no sponsorship with, he's with Pat's project also, who I'm currently falling in love with slowly but surely.
I really love their running shorts that I got.
I went ahead. I bought. They have like last restock supposedly. They'll never make these again. The Waddy series. I bought a couple of the shirts, the T-shirt Waddy series. I will say they are more designed for European built fellas, and maybe not.
It's like the slim fit.
Yeah, maybe not Midwesterners. Maybe not Midwesterners. It leaves little to the imagination. But they are really nice. I like them a lot, but they're snug.
Yeah. And another notable finisher was Harvey Lewis, who Harvey got 7th overall, 6th place male, 26:17. And if you look at the race results, I'm only seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 6 DNFs.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. You know, people are uber prepared for this race. And, you know, I think they have to spend like $5,000 on this race. There's like a mandatory like donation, and, you know, I don't know all the things, but I know it's very expensive to run this race.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where you get into it and you're like, I don't give a shit. Unless there's something white and hard sticking out of the skin, we are moving on. Like, we are going to continue to move forward. Like, there is none of this. I feel sorry for myself stopping. Like, you're like, hell no. My credit cards are all maxed, and I've devoted my entire year to this, and, like, I have family here sweating to death. Like, we are getting through this shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And here's the Instagram post of Cole and taking Victoria.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Cool. Line. Yeah.
Nice.
That is a dope picture too. Like just the timing of it, like the light in the background and everything.
Oh yeah. It's just starting to get dark.
Damn.
Yeah. Or light, perhaps. I don't know. Okay, let's jump to Mount Marathon. This is like this is not an ultra marathon by all means. It's a 5K. But it's a super tough 5K. Races. We're talking like almost 3,000 feet of climbing. It's a 1.5 miles up and a 1.5 miles down. And so imagine doing 3,000 feet of climbing in a 1.5 miles. That's how steep it is. And if you look at, you know, there's all kinds of videos. You can look on YouTube, you know, just Google Mount Marathon, but you can see them glissading down the snow here. You know, you can see just how steep this race is. And it's actually a lottery to get into this. It's on the 4th of July every weekend. But anyway, it's in Seward, Alaska. It goes up Mount Marathon, not all the way. And but it goes up, you know, almost 3,000 feet and back down. And let's see.
Do you have the video? Go to the video that you embedded.
That video would not pull up for me.
Oh, try again, because it just pulled up for me. Because that dude absolutely eats shit and bounces.
Oh, here we go. So this is an older race.
I love this woman's face here a second. I love this woman's face.
Yeah. So
here it goes.
Yeah. So it's
like
this. So when they're starting their descent, it is so steep, and it's like in Scree, and it's so steep. And this guy is just like full send, going down, trips, does a complete roll, lands on his feet, and just keeps going like nothing ever happened. And he's like about to pass this guy in front of him too, which is pretty funny. And then this girl's laughing her ass off. But yeah, no, that's this race, man. People are just like they sacrifice their bodies. They don't care.
It is the American version of chasing that dumbass cheese down the hill.
Yeah.
It's what it really is. It's the American version of that. Like, it is nuts. Yeah. Like, I love this race. Every year this race cracks me up, man.
I agree. It's awesome, and I really want to do it, even though I'm going to be like 2 hours. You know,
Oh, dude. Yeah, man.
I'm going to be like
yeah.
sitting on my ass and sliding down
Yeah.
that hill. Claire Rhodes won for the women. You know, she won last year too. She was 7th overall. And, you know, last year she set 49:49 for the finish, 49 minutes, 49 seconds. This year she was 50 minutes and 31 seconds. And she's actually from, I think, or she lives in Anchorage. So she is Alaska resident. She also was 3rd at Gorge Waterfalls 100K, and she's on Team USA for the Trail World Championships. So Claire Rhodes, 1st place for the women. David Norris, this guy is like unbeatable on the course. He won the men's race for the 6th time in 42 minutes and 30 seconds, which was actually a couple minutes longer than his course record from last year of 40 minutes and 37 seconds. So he did 42 minutes and 30 seconds this year. Yeah. So, what is this? Oh, he got to the top in 31 minutes and 13 seconds. So that means he made it down in like 11 minutes.
It's fearless.
That was the
dumb.
3rd best downhill split. Oh, Max King. Max King was in it, and he actually got 2nd place in 44 minutes and 23 seconds. So Max King is he's one of the OG ultra runner guys that kicked ass. All right. So that was Mount Marathon. I encourage everybody to look that up on YouTube, Mount Marathon in Alaska, and just check out the craziness that is that race. All right. I think, honestly, for the sake of time, we're going to skip the other race results. We had Finger Lakes 50s in New York, and we had Quebec Mega Trail up in Canada. So I encourage people to check out those race results on their own if they're interested in those. Let's go to one of our top stories here. This FKT in Colorado, Nolans 14. I knew about this when I first got into ultra running too. It's kind of a thing that not many people had done. It was just kind of a thing of lore. It's called Nolans 14, and it's basically you summit 14,000 foot peaks in Colorado, and there's not a set route that you have to go. You just have to summit them all on foot, and you have to do it within 60 hours to be considered an official round or whatever. You know, like with the Bob Graham round in England, you have to do it in 24 hours for it to count. Well, Nolans, you have to do it in under 60 hours to count, because it's that freaking hard. 60 hours for 100 miles. There's around 44,000 feet of climbing in this 100 miles. A lot of it is, you know, the peaks are like off trail on technical rock scrambles and things like that. So no easy feat. And in the northbound direction, the previous supported FKT was David Hedges in 1 day, 15 hours and 6 minutes. Well, Francois Dehaene shows up in America, and he's just like, hold my beer.
We do this all the time over. Like this is a Saturday long run.
Yeah. So Francois just absolutely crushed it. 1 day, 11 hours and 33 minutes. Northbound on Nolans 14. Very impressive. There was a whole write-up about it in I Run Far. I encourage people to check that out. 35 hours, 33 minutes, and 41 seconds. And so Nolans 14 was conceived and first attempted in 1998, has 14,000 foot peaks in Colorado's Salwatch Range, over about 95 miles, depending on the chosen partially off trail route. has about 45,000 feet of climbing with an average elevation of 12,000 feet above sea level. And so Francois stepped up and just crushed it. He did win Hardrock in 2021, set the record there. And he won UTMB that same year.
Probably knows a little bit about running in mountains.
Yeah, a little bit. Then in 2022, he was second at Hardrock behind Killian. And in 2017, he set the supported FKT on the John Muir Trail in Sierra Nevada. So he's no stranger to setting FKTs.
Yeah, we've talked about this. We've talked about this FKT before. Someone did something on this one before. I can't find it. I'm poking around on the FKTs.
I think it was Sabrina Stanley or Andrea Sansone, female supported. Oh no, wait, that was 2022. So it would have been.
It might be Alex Walker on the Holy Nolans.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Which is just like, oh hey, by the way, here's this really hard thing. Let's just tack on one more. Like fuck it, why not?
Yeah, so Holy Nolans is all Nolans 14 plus Holy Cross.
Plus Holy Cross, yeah.
So that's 15 14ers. But adding on that one Holy Cross adds on 25 miles to the trip.
Yeah.
So that makes it exponentially harder.
It's just insane. 14 14ers.
Yeah.
Like it's so stupid.
Again, I highly recommend everybody go on YouTube and look up Nolans 14 and watch some video footage from that because it is just wild. There was another FKT in the White Mountains. That's in New Hampshire, like some of the toughest terrain on the Appalachian Trail. That's a 104-mile segment with 34,000 feet of climbing. And Jack Kunzel actually has the male-supported FKT from 2022, but we are where am I at?
It's Zan.
Oh yeah, Zan Alberici did it unsupported.
Yeah,
I don't know how anybody does something of this length unsupported, to be honest with you.
Especially
you have to carry all your food.
Yeah, especially up there. Like there is not like that is remote. You are out in the middle of effing nowhere. You know what I mean? And
I'm sure he had plenty of water to filter though, which is probably good. But yeah, you have to carry all your food and you have to carry all your trash, right? Like you have to pack your trash out too. I don't think you can deposit it in public trash cans.
And everything I've seen of those White Mountains, like that trail is not like by no stretch of imagination is it runnable. Like it is unbelievable technical routes and like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Not for us mere mortals.
No, like it's just absolutely insane.
And he did it in 1 day, 21 hours and 55 minutes. So unsupported. Another one in the Northeast was the New Hampshire, the full section of the New Hampshire portion of the Appalachian Trail. And that's 161 miles with 56,000 feet of climbing. And that was Amber Constant set the female supported FKT in 2 days, 22 hours and 36 minutes. So pretty impressive.
Ain't no switchback there either.
Also, here you go, Johnny. When you go out to Portland to hang out, you can run the Wildwood Trail FKT.
I mean, this guy can enjoy it while he has it. I'm going to take this shit from you here.
Yeah, 27.4 miles is the Wildwood Trail. This is in Forest Park, one of the largest urban parks in the United States. It's an awesome park. I ran a 50K there once. It's really a cool place to run. It's, Oregon forest. You can get up those switchbacks and levels and you can see way down into the trees. I mean, it's really cool. But so who do we have? AJ Handspell. let's see. We had male supported.
And he did the out and back.
Oh, he did the out and backs on Wildwood. So yeah, you're
54.
looking at 44 or 54 miles, 54 miles in 8 hours and 4 minutes on the Wildwood Trail.
You know, and, I'll probably go ahead and let him keep that.
Yeah, I think I would be happy if I did 8 hours and 4 minutes going one way.
Yeah, if I get oh shit, that's crazy.
All right, Liz is out there still plugging away on the PCT, and she actually, let's see, she posted day 27 today. What is her average? Her average right now is 39.3 miles a day, and I think she needs to average around 43.8. So she's going to have to start having some big days here soon in order to get up to the average of the self-supported FKT.
The pictures that she has right now on her on day 26,
yeah,
it's just like, I mean, there's just nothing out there. There's just nothing out there. That is so remote. I mean, there's like a couple trees, that are barely alive. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So this is in the Sierras. She had talked about going through Yosemite and everything. So, that is very remote. That kind of looks like the John Muir Trail. I think is the John Muir Trail and the PCT, do they go along the same trail for a little while?
That I do not know.
Yeah. But it is beautiful out there anyways. The Eastern Sierra in general is just really cool. So
yeah.
All right. Well, the Sierras, I guess, in general. Okay. One thing we want to announce that actually Robert brought to our attention was that the 24-hour team, Cole and the crew, they're having a fundraiser, and it's a virtual event, and it's a 24-day virtual event that goes from August 1st to August 24th, and there's an entry fee. So you can pay $30 if you just do the run, or if you want some swag, you can do $60. But it's a virtual challenge. Just do as many miles as you can in those 24 days, just to show support for the United States 24-hour team. Some of those athletes have to pay their own way, and then you had mentioned something about that, Robert, right?
Yeah, like a lot of them, like if they're not sponsored or whatever, they're responsible for paying their own way. So I found this just popped up on my feed, and I thought I'd share it just because I think I'm going to join just to support them, because there's 6 men, 6 women that go, and it'd be nice for all of them to be able to go and represent the U.S. without having to worry about if they can afford to pay for it or not. So I thought it was a good thing.
Yeah. I love this idea. So if you're out there listening and you're interested, you can look it up on Run Sign Up, and I'm also going to post the link in our show notes for everybody, so you can find it that way as well. All right, let's get to one of the
Hardrock
biggest races of the year. I mean, not big in the terms of the amount of people running it, but big in the terms of elevation gain and also just kind of attention to the race in general. It's a classic Hardrock 100, been going on forever. And so it starts at 6 a.m. Friday. They have a live stream, but it's not like Western States where they have drones out on the course.
Yeah.
I mean, to my knowledge, they usually have cameras in the aid stations so you can see people coming in and whatnot. But they have a great live tracker. You can actually see the dots on on the course, and you can see that like the elevation profile, so you can see the dots when they're going up the climbs, and it's pretty fun to follow. Ludo Pom, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Let's see.
Pomeray.
Yeah. Ludo is back. He won last year, setting the course record, the overall course record and clockwise record last year in 21:33. And Francois holds the counterclockwise record in 21:45. Although I thought Killian had beat that. I might have some bad intel there. Anyway, Courtney Dauwalter holds the overall record there, counterclockwise 26:14 and clockwise 26:44, which is kind of surprising for Courtney on those records, because the counterclockwise is the harder direction. And Johnny and I talked about this last year. Counterclock, because AJW wrote an article about it. Rock Horton, his article is which direction is harder in Hardrock. And if you go the counterclockwise direction, he said you're going up the ramps and you're going down the wall. So if you go in the clockwise direction, you're going up the wall. So the climbs are steeper, but the downhills are easier because they're more like ramps, So anyway, this year the race is counterclockwise, so it's going to be in the harder direction. I mean, they're both like pretty damn hard, right? This race goes over several 13,000-foot peaks. It goes over one 14,000-foot peak, Handies. It's 100 miles with 33,000 feet of climbing, average elevation of like 10,000 or 10,500 feet above sea level. It's hard, and you have 48 hours to do it. But let's just look at some of the main contenders this year. I would say the field this year is not as deep as it maybe was in the past, but for the women, you got the Katie Scheid. She won Western States, won UTMB last year, and she is coming to Hardrock, and Courtney is not coming to Hardrock. It would have been really cool to see Courtney and Katie duke it out, but Courtney just did. What's the race she did? I don't know. She just won the race. Oh, Lavaredo. Yeah. So, anyways, she's not running Hardrock, but Katie is definitely the favorite. And Manon Collier of France and Katharina Hartmuth of Germany, they both have top finishes at big mountain 100s. So they're top contenders. And for the men, like I said, Ludo's coming back. He's going to definitely be one of the favorites. And Zach Miller, last year he had to withdraw because of his appendix.
Yeah.
And actually the other time he was going to get in it, he got injured. So third time hopefully is a charm, because Zach Miller is a really fun runner to watch. He's a hard charging kind of guy. And Matthew Blanchard, who's, an excellent mountain runner, and Jermaine Granger is in it as well. This article does say Francois does hold the men's counterclockwise record of 21:45 in 2021. I had thought that Killian had beat that, but maybe not.
Who won Lavaredo with Courtney? Courtney won it for the women. Who won it for the guys?
That was it was a United States runner.
Yeah.
And he set the course record at Lavaredo.
In my head I was thinking it was Zach Miller, but it wasn't Zach Miller.
No. It was, let me see here. Who won Lavaredo?
Let's go, Google. Get your shit together.
Hurry. Ben Demon. Ben
Oh,
Demon
no,
set the course record in 11 hours and 49 minutes. And I got to look up counterclockwise record.
The women's race, I feel like they're missing some women, like looking over like the write-up about women's race. Who isn't one of the sisters, one of the twins? One of the twins that we always talk about, isn't she running? Hardrock? Yeah. I thought one was running Western States. I thought the other was running Hardrock. Am I misremembering that too?
So I don't see her in the preview, but I haven't really looked at the full entrance list. So
the women's, you talk about how the guys' race is not very deep. I hate to say it, the women's is not, like, it's basically Scheid and Hartmuth, and that is essentially the women's race in my mind, unless there's someone that I'm not super aware of.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at their watch list,
yeah, it is hella short.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at their watch list now. Yeah, Becky Bates, Yuxel Frail, Shelby Johnson, Maria Samajian, Amber Weeble. Notable withdrawal was Leah Yingling, who could have ran a good race there.
Who's your top three for men?
All right, you want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will say this. I will start with my first place. I think Zach Miller gets it done.
Oh, shit. Well, it's because he's light one appendix. So he's really, I mean, he's kind of cheating, right? Like
Zach Miller is one of the few people I follow on Strava, like, you know, the elite runners. Yeah. I usually put most of them on mute because I just want to see, like, you know, my friends in the Strava field. But I do follow Zach, and that guy he puts in hella training, man. Yeah. And he's strong. And if you watch him run other races, he's just he's like a bull, man. He just hard charging. He doesn't stop. And he's a beast. And I have to say he's going to be hungry because he hasn't raced in a while. And I'm going to put Zach Miller in first, even though Ludo has a really strong case here.
Yeah. It's really hard to go against Ludo.
It is, since he set the overall record last year. And rumor has it that Jim Walmsley and Vincent Bulliard are going to be pacing Ludo.
Yeah.
So
could you imagine having those two for your pacers?
It's insane.
That's insane. Like you wouldn't be able to slow down. Like the second you drop below like a 9-minute mile, they're like, "What are we doing out here, Ludo? What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like, it'd be so ridiculous.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna put Ludo in second, and third, I think I'm gonna go with Matthew Blanchard. I think he's really gonna do well this year. And for my wild card, you know, I'm gonna have. So Kyle Curtin's running. This is very interesting.
It's funny. It's yeah.
I mean, Jermaine Granger's got to be. He's got to be one of the favorites. But I'm a big Kyle Curtin fan, man. So
yeah.
And he lives in Durango. He trains on that course.
I mean, he just said FKT.
He has FKT on the Colorado Trail.
Yeah.
He's won Tahoe 200. He set the course, or the FKT on the Tahoe Rim Trail. Yeah, I think I just talked myself into it. Kyle Curtin is my wild card.
So the only reason I'm not putting Kyle Curtin, like, in first, or the only reason he's not my front runner is because of a lesson that we learned last year about this race. Do you remember what that lesson was? This race specifically. There's one lesson we learned from this race. And actually it revolves around Ludo.
You got to run smart. I don't know.
Age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Older runners always do better here.
Slow and steady.
Yeah, Western States, all that shit. Western States, even UTMB to a degree. Fucking Black Canyon. All those are the young bucks, right? This race, it suits the old dudes really, really well. So
it does.
That being said, I'm going to Ludo back to back.
Nice. I like it, man. I like it.
Give me Ludo to run it back.
Run it back. Run it again.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna go Blanchard second.
Ooh. Okay.
And then now here's my thing. I am gonna do Curtin third though.
Okay. Wow, no Zach Miller in the podium.
He'll be my wild card, like because I can see him doing it. I don't know, and like the one that really breaks my heart to leave out there is Jeff Rome. Like that's
oh yeah,
really,
he's Mr.
Like,
consistent at Hardrock.
Like that dude is always flirting in the top 5. It feels like.
I was saying he's always fifth. No.
Yeah, I was saying I don't know what his like average finish is, but it feels like he's always flirting in like that 5th place, like 3rd, 5th, 7th. He's always somewhere in that general realm.
Yeah.
Rob, have you looked into this? Do you have any picks?
Yeah, I got a few that I wrote down, and it's not a whole lot different. You know, like I kind of wanted to go with Zach Miller for the win, but I just like I don't have him on Strava, so I don't know what he's doing, and that makes me a little uneasy. So I actually went with Matthew Blanchard for first.
Nice.
I went with Zach Miller for second, Ludo for third. But I think Johnny's going to be right, especially if he's got those pacers, man. If that's actually real, like they're just going to burn it down, I think. But
sorry, who was your second?
Second was Zach Miller. So I went with Matthew Blanchard, Zach Miller second, and then Ludo for 3. And I actually, for my wild card, I had 2 written down. I had Kyle Curtin written down, but I also had this guy, David Ayala. And I looked at him just because he'd won the I'm Tough in Idaho for like the last couple of years.
Yeah,
hard race.
Yeah, and so I thought maybe he could have a shot. So that's why I picked him as a wild card. But
Andy was second at Bighorn for 2 different years.
Yeah, dude, that's a solid wild card right there.
It is a solid wild card, and I'm kind of jealous. Another one. Was Ian Ferris. He won Scout Mountain last year, which is that's a really tough race too. So any of these guys could be a surprise. We don't really know, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, you want to do the women's man,
pick? I hate to do it. Like the women's, like that is such a short. It's such a shallow pool this year.
Yeah,
like it feels. I mean, like for me, I'll go ahead and knock mine out because mine is super easy. Like it's Katie all day, every day by a fucking marathon.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like Katie's probably going to have that thing in a bag. Probably by 50-mile mark. And then, like I said, the only one I can even see holding a candle to Katie is Hartmouth. Just because I've watched her do a couple things. I really like her. I enjoy her. And then I'll throw some love to it. I believe she's an East Coaster. And Shelby Johnson will be my 3rd place.
Okay. You have a wild card?
I if I have a wild card, it's just straight pulling something out of my ass and just be like, oh, I would probably go with Stephanie Case. Just Canadian living over there in France. You know how to living over there
Dude,
in France, you fucking run those mountains all the time.
You know what? I honestly, I'm going to put Katie in first, of course.
Of course.
I'm going with Stephanie in second.
Yeah.
Stephanie Case. She won Snowdonia 100K, which Snowdonia is no joke, man. It's like so technical and hard. Holy shit. And also, she was second at 2022 Hardrock.
Yeah.
She had to take a hiatus when she had her first child. But the fact that she came back and won Ultra Trail Snowdonia, I'm definitely thinking she's gonna do well. And
yeah,
if anybody could challenge Katie Scheid, I think it might be Stephanie.
Yeah.
I just say Eliza Lapierre. Is she? Yeah, Eliza Lapierre is going to be in it. Did you see that?
I don't see her, huh?
Yeah, so it's right under that picture of Stephanie Case in the preview.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, for third, I'm going to go with Katharina Hartmuth.
Yeah, and I like Hartmuth a lot.
Yeah. I got to go with this Manon Bohard Collier for third. She won Diagonal de Fou before, which is one of the hardest mountain races in the world by far. She won Madeira Island Trail. She won TDS, that's a really hard race at UTMB. It's that technical, the 70 or 80 miler, super technical. But she was like 20th at UTMB last year. So who knows, who knows, like, seems like she could show up and do great things or not have a good day. So doesn't look too consistent. All right. Robert, you got some picks?
Yeah, so I hate to go against Katie Scheid because that's dumb, but I feel like I saw a couple of weeks ago she posted something on social media where she fell down on a run where she tripped and fell and hurt her knee or whatever. So I don't know if that's disinformation or what, but I was like, man, so because of that, I was like, don't know how she actually is physically. So I'm like, even something small can really affect you, So I put Hartmuth as first.
Nice.
I didn't have her fall too far from there, so I put Katie Scheid as second. And then I went with Lapierre for third. Nice. Kind of what Johnny was saying. She's a little older, Vermont girl. I like that. And then for my wild card, I went with Amber Weeble. I was just checking her out. She got 18th at Western States this year, 9th at Hardrock last year. And I know the double backs kind of hard, but dude, she ran the Broken Arrow sky races, and she ran all of them 3 days in a row and did well.
And,
so I feel like she's
18th at Western State.
Yeah. I feel like she's good at the double back or the high volume. So I'm gonna take a shot on her as my wild card.
That's a good one.
The dirty double.
Well, and it's kind of funny because what this year at Western States, what did you say she took? 18th?
18th, yeah.
That's impressive after running the trifecta at Broken Arrow.
Yeah, and what's kind of funny is 18th for someone of that caliber. How hard was she push? I mean, I'm sure she was pushing, but was she pushing, or was she I'm gonna go about 80% just to kind of you know what I mean? It was because she knew she had this that. watch her fuck around and just like, all right, I got my shakeout run in down in Cali. Let's get this shit right. Like that could be a good one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. Yeah.
Who did you say was from Vermont?
Eliza
I think
LaPierre.
LaPierre. Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew she was an East Coaster. Well, it should be.
I mean, that can go against you at altitude. You know, I think she seems like she's got real good experience under her. So,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, right. She's been out to Cocoa. She's done Leadville. Like, yeah, I could be a good one.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. Well, it'll be fun to see how it all plays out. It's
all shake out again.
Friday of Hardrock is like always tough for productivity at work. Hopefully, nobody in my company is listening to this, and it's a huge company, so it's very possible that they are. But anyway, I was just kidding. I'll watch it after.
I'll do my work.
Yeah. All right. Well, our 3 Ts is multi-day races, and I think we've touched on a lot of stuff just talking with you, Robert, earlier about your 6-day. One thing, that one race that I do want to point out that for whatever reason, probably for the same reason that HOTS intrigues us, there's that race in Queens in New York, the
Transcendence, self-transcendence race.
Yeah, the Transcendence, like 3,100 mile.
Yeah.
So, and it's basically around a half-mile block in Queens. And what is it, like 18 hours a day that you can run or something?
Yeah. They give you 18 hours. You got to rest for, I think, was it 10 p.m. to 4 or it might be midnight to 6 a.m., something like that.
Yeah, so you get like 6 hours of rest.
That's just because they don't want you to get robbed. That's like, I mean, it's fucking Queens, man. Like, they're just trying to make sure you don't get fucking pulled off into a subway and fucking stuck. You know what I mean?
Like Coming to America. Queens. That's where I'll find my queen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would love to do that race one though. Like that seems like an awesome race.
That's kind of like a retirement project, like when you can just take a whole month of July and hang out in New York.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is in July, I think, right? Yeah, it's probably going on right now.
Yeah, I think it's July into August.
Or it's going to start soon or something.
Yeah.
But anyways, multi-day races, I'm sure it's just like, you gotta get sleep, but do it strategically and efficiently if you can. You gotta keep calories in, just all the stuff. And like you said, Robert, you just have to figure it out. You kind of figure it out as you go. You problem solve and you learn lessons. And yeah. Johnny, you did, my only experience with multi-day is the 48-hour Fat Dog, which, did involve hallucinations and craziness. And Johnny, yours was with Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that or not, but.
I've talked about Tahoe. It is funny because like one of the things that Rob said, I think is like, and I remember talking to Pete about this going into Cocoa, and like the one thing I really find entertaining or interesting about the multi-days is 2 things. One, there's room for error. There's much more room for error than there is even in hundreds.
Yeah.
There's just so much more room for error. And then the other part is I mean, don't get me wrong, they're physically demanding, but how much less physically demanding they are than 100 milers or anything else below it. Because you just allow your body to your body's not taking as bad of a beating. You know what I mean? There's more trekking, there's more power hiking, there's more resting even. Like, so those are my big things, but it is a different level of, on regular ultras, you'll hear all the time, like, eat before you're hungry, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it with multi-days, it is also a thing of like, hey, rest before you're tired, because at some point it's going to be too late and you're just going to be effed. You're going to be way behind the sleep cycle. That's what we try to do with Pete, right? It's like, hey, let's try to keep him on the same like sleep cycle that you'd be on anyway. So it's nighttime, like, dude, like, let's shut it down for a little bit. Yeah, let's shut it down for a little bit, get 90 minutes in or something. You know what I mean? And like,
I think we only gave him 2 times. We gave him 2 hours.
Like maybe 2 times. Like, and that really does work. It's amazing. I mean, like, now don't get me wrong. Over multiple days, it stops working.
Yeah.
As Rob can now attest. What I mean? Like, that's something a battery can do for so long. But
and you have a lot of ups and downs too.
Yeah. Rob, anything else to add about multi-day races that we didn't maybe touch on beginning of the episode?
No, not much. Just for the sake of time, I would just say, like, if you're considering doing one, like, just read as much as you can. Like, I read a bunch of Bob Hearn's old blogs for some of his 6-day stuff. Just got some insight there. And then even Jamie, I've been reading your blog and like your Fat Dog like article. I mean, that was awesome, man. Reading that, I was like, dude, is he gonna make it? It was pretty cool. But you learn, right? You learn from other people, and at the end of the day, like, everybody's an individual. But there's just so much information out there now that like probably wasn't there 10 or 15 years ago. That like, I mean, just tap into that, man. Like, just read what other people have done, and I found that helpful.
Dude, I love that advice. I love that. Yeah. Seek it out from the experienced people, right? And they will be willing to talk to you. You can you can reach out to anybody in this community. We were talking about the community earlier. They're very, very willing to share their experience and share their knowledge. I've done it for several people that I've met through friends and family that are trying to get into ultra running, and I've given them extensive resources and just things I know. I'm not an expert, but I can just talk about my own experience. So
yep.
But yeah, well said. All right, well, we're getting a little over time here, but Rob, man, thanks, dude. Thanks for coming on. Your story's been incredible, and you're just getting started. So it'll be fun to follow along, and we once again we do appreciate you interacting with us on social media and everything. This kind of what we envisioned. I've said this before, building a community of people. So it's good to have you. Good to have you aboard.
No, it's been awesome being on the show, guys. I appreciate you inviting me, and like, it really has been special to me to be on because, like I said, this really was and has been a big part of my journey. So this means a lot to me. I'll leave it like that.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you on the next one with the Hardrock results.
Nice. Cool.
All right. See you later.
See you.
See you guys.